Well, we're heading into the holiday season, and whether you're ready for it or not, there are some guidelines to follow. Chip Coughlin of Retirement Income Analyst is a registered rep with First Allied Securities. And Chip, you say that there really is a way to do this. You know, you have to make a list, check it twice, and...
We want to add a budget that looks real nice. Okay, we're going to put an extra line in that song. And that song's been around for a long time, but people aren't heeding the advice.
No. So what should they do, like right now?
Right now, start the plan.
Okay.
Start making your list, have a budget, okay, and line it out. And we want you to really not load up your credit cards. If we began with the end in mind, we wouldn't want to get to January and have the holiday financial hangover, okay? And that's, if we had that, it's not going to allow us to really start our 401ks off on the right foot and things like that. So now, you've got to have a budget.
Now, what do you say to people that maybe have parents, they have multiple kids? You know, do you suggest saying, okay, only make a list and say, I'm only going to buy this much for each child? I mean, is that smart?
Exactly. Get out in front of it.
Okay.
Have a list. Put the holiday back in the holidays.
Okay.
And have the list, check it twice, stay within your budget, no emotional purchasing, okay, so that you can get what you need to have a great holiday. No one's left out, but your budget doesn't get destroyed.
Now, you say, too, that people should try to use cash instead of credit?
We want them to use cash. It's part of the budgeting process, so they don't get that big bill in January when the MasterCard bill comes.
Now, this is interesting because you say use layaway instead of credit, which layaway is something that sort of many people got away from, but now seems to be making the comeback.
It's absolutely coming back. It's a planning process. I want to buy these things for my children, perhaps, or my parents or spouse. You start laying away over time. It's like a forced savings account. And in the old days, they had Christmas clubs. And those have kind of fallen by the wayside. But it was a great idea to be prepared.
Okay, and speaking of being prepared, people can actually maybe go down into the basement this time of year, and if they're looking for extra cash, they can find it in their items and maybe sell them, right?
Exactly. Go into your house, look at the things you're not using. What could you put on eBay or Craigslist to generate some revenue to help you with Christmas? Cut out the frivolous spending in the fourth quarter of the year, again, to help you save some extra dollars to get there, because you don't want to have to play catch up at the beginning of the next year.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, right? Because oftentimes what happens is January comes, the bill comes in the mail, and people say, well, we can handle it as January. But what you're saying is having to make up for all that spending is quite daunting, right?
It surely is, and it could put a crimp in your budget for perhaps the first quarter of the year.
Okay.
So we want to get ahead. We want to have Christmas, have a guilt-free Christmas, get into January, and be able to do the things we need to do to start our year off and make progress right away, day one.
Now, let's say for a family who knows their income, right, how much they make, is there a certain set, you know, it might be hard to say this, but how much they should set aside for buying, or like how do they know what amount is the right amount?
That's a tough question because it's different for everybody. Some people are very generous, you know, and in that case, they've got to save and get ahead of the ball game. But there's no really set figure for spending on Christmas. I would say the figure is you got to make sure it's in your budget. Okay? We advocate planning. We plan for all these issues. We want to plan early. We want to plan often so that we don't get caught. And so it could be a different number for everyone. But take the emotion out of it, have the list, seek what you want, and go and get it.
What is your take on, you know, those websites like Gilt.com, or, you know, they have like the special things that you can buy, like this, it's on sale today for this price. I mean, do you think those are websites you should?
You got to go in there with an idea of what you want. Okay. And then you're seeking the best price.
Okay.
And if it's in your budget, you should know ahead of time, hey, this is going to cost about so many dollars.
Okay.
And let's find the least expensive way to acquire that, okay, in a timely fashion. But in America today, we load up our credit cards without a second thought. And we've got to get away from that because it becomes needs versus wants.
Right.
Okay. What do we need versus what do we want? And sometimes there's a big gap between those two.
Yeah, don't we all know it?
Let's put that together so that Christmas can be super successful and a happy and joyous time, but the hangover in January is minimal.
Making the list, checking it twice, and what was that last part?
We're going to add a budget that looks real nice.
There we go. Well said. Okay, so listen, if you'd like to know more about Retirement Income Analysts, they have offices on East Brighton Avenue in Syracuse. You can give them a call, 701-4440 or 855-44-RETIRE. You can also visit them online, retirementincomeanalysts.com. Well, thank you.
Great
nice
being
to
here.
see you, Chip. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that, we will be right back.